What's up, fishing addicts? Today I'm doing a review of the Brooklyn Kayak Company PK12 pedal drive kayak. Now, the PK12 is just a 12-foot pedal-driven kayak, pretty plain and simple. I have had it for a little while now. It's been one of my most top requested videos to make. So I'm going to hop in, explore all the little details, all the key things, a lot of stuff that they don't have on the website. Some good, some bad. So let's hop right into it. Alrighty guys, so we're going to start off with the pros of this kayak, and the first one of those being a really big thing, and that is that it does in fact come with accessory rails. Now, accessory rails, for those of you that don't know, are just these little rails that you can put accessories like a fish finder. If you want to put a GoPro on it, you can put rod holders, a lot of different things, as long as it has the capability of being put on an accessory rail. So as long as it is capable of being put on an accessory rail, you can put it on those, you can get them on easy, you can get them off easy, and they're very convenient. Now, this does come with accessory rails, and that was a big deal because it doesn't show them on their website, it doesn't say anything about them, and I heard very mixed things, but it does in fact come with accessory rails, and this was massive because I did not have to install any myself, and it's not good to drill holes in your kayak. Yes, you can do it, but you have to be very careful. And because they already came with accessory rails, I didn't have to drill any holes or do anything like that. Now, the next big pro is the fact that it does in fact come with a seat strap. Essentially, it's just a little bungee that keeps the seat down. Now, this isn't as big of a deal. It's just very helpful for those of you that are putting it in a van like myself or something like that, where the seat isn't attached, or even if you're putting it on any sort of trailer or anything like that, so that the seat is kept down and tight against the kayak and not flapping everywhere. It's literally just a bungee that keeps it down. It's something you can do easily yourself, but it's very helpful that it came with it. Now, the next pro is the fact that the seat is very surprisingly comfy. Now, the seat I got personally, it didn't come ripped, but it did rip in the first or second trip. However, they did send me a seat really quickly. I just talked to them about it, and they sent me one right out, and it is very comfy. Both of them were. They're almost identical seats. But they're very comfy, they work quite well. I think I just got a kind of defective one. So I was very happy with that. It's a very nice seat. Now, the next pro is the floor padding. It does come with some EVA foam padding on the floor. It doesn't seem to be the most durable. It doesn't feel like it would be the most durable, but I've been out on it quite a bit, and there's no sign of wear and tear yet. Hopefully it stays like that, but you know, it doesn't feel the most durable, but so far it has been very durable, and I like it. It's very comfy, and it works quite well. Now, the next pro is one that some people may not like. I personally really like it, and it is the hatch right behind the seat. Now, I really like this because it's just something I can put a tiny tackle box. I can put some accessories, a scale and stuff, and it won't get wet. It's away from the water, and it's in a nice little compartment that I can just reach behind me and grab. Now, the next big pro is something that it's very, you know, it's kind of a pro and con. You can take the pedal drive up rather quickly, and I do like that the part that you put above it so that water doesn't splash, that little kind of plate. It does have a cup holder, which is nice, and it does also have a little area you can, you know, toss hooks and stuff. You know, it's kind of pro-con because of the fact that it really doesn't keep water out too great. But at the same time, I do like that it does have a cup holder. It's just nice because I'll put, you know, a coffee mug, stuff like that. Not a ceramic coffee mug, just like a, you know, thermos and stuff like that. You know, any energy drink, stuff like that. It is nice, and it's just kind of a little something that is pretty nice. Now, the next pro is the fact that it does come with a bungee, just literally a bungee in the back across the the back tank well. Took me a second there to actually get my thoughts. But the back tank well, it does come with a bungee. It's something you can remove quite easily. It's not a major thing. It's something you could really put on any kayak quite easily. But it's nice that they had this because of the fact that it just, you know, it's a little something that makes it easier. And it just is pretty much just convenient. You know, if you were, you know, fishing a river or something, and you just want to put some stuff back there, you know, just a few tackle crates, something like that, it can keep them on the kayak without them falling out because it is kind of a shallower tank well. it's really not that tall, not something like the Predator that has a really deep tank well. Now the next pro of this kayak is the paddle keeper. Now I really like this because I personally always like to have a paddle with me just in case I get into some really shallow water or something like that where I need to have a paddle and I can't have the pedal drive system in the water, else I can't get that shallow and it's just gonna hit the ground. It's always nice to have a paddle because if I want to go get a lure or something like that, I can do it and I don't have to worry about messing up the pedal drive system. And this paddle keeper, it's very simple, but it gets the job done and it works pretty well. Now the next big thing I really like about this kayak is stability. Now this thing is a really stable kayak. It's not going to be as stable as some of your really high-end kayaks like the Old Town Sportsman or something like that, but it is very surprisingly stable. Being about half the price of the Old Town Predator, it does its job very, very well, and for its price, it puts up a serious fight as far as stability goes. Now the next big thing that I love about this kayak is the fact that its seating adjustments are very large. You get a large variety of adjustments for the seating. You can put this thing up really, really far, so if you are really, really short, you can use the pedal drive. This thing is a powerhouse when it comes to the seating adjustments. It allows you to get really far up or really far back, and I love this. It has a very large variety of adjustments. It is seriously good as far as the adjustments go, and I love it. Now next up is going to be the pedal drive. Of course, a pedal drive is always going to be better than paddling. If you're on a river or something, it might not be, but generally speaking, it is going to be better. It allows you to go hands-free. You don't have to be, paddling and then setting down the paddle and then fishing. You can fish while you are moving. And now this is a big step up from paddling, and the pedal drive system in this thing does not disappoint. It works quite well. It gets the job done. It's very solid. It is all metal except for the actual little pedals themselves, but it does its job very well. As far as speed goes, it's not the most speedy of kayaks. It's gonna go around 3.5, maybe 4 miles per hour, if you're really punching it, but it's generally gonna go around 3.5 miles per hour. So this thing, it's on the slower side. It's not real slow, but it's not, it's not up the crank. It's just kind of the middle. So nothing bad about it. The pedal drive system is very solid. It is a very solid system. All metal, again, works quite well, and it gets its job done. Now, to wrap up the pros, we have the front dry storage. Now, this is, nothing out of the ordinary. It's just your ordinary dry storage, but it is quite well if you're going, it works quite well if you're going on a longer adventure, a longer voyage. You can store stuff in there, or if you want to get a fish finder or something out of the way. Now, the dry storage bag will be hitting the bottom of the kayak, so don't drop your fish finder in there and expect it to catch it. You don't do it because it's not going to end well. But it does work quite well, and it also has a rear dry storage, which is very, very poorly placed, and that will bring us right into the cons. Now, for some reason, Brooklyn Kayak Company decided to have a rear dry storage right where you are trying to put your tackle crate or tackle bag. It doesn't allow you to put a tackle crate there, but a simple fix for this is going to be getting a pool noodle, cutting it in half, and you'll need two kind of longer ones, two longer ones, and one shorter one. Really simple. It's a really, really cheap fix, but it's really bothersome that they decided to put a dry storage there. You can remove the top of the dry storage, the kind of lid, but then it just causes a few more issues. And I suggest just leaving it on there, getting a pool noodle, cutting one longer piece in half so that you have two longer pieces and one shorter half piece. It fixes it up, but still it's bothersome. Why would you put it there? I don't know. I don't know why they did it, and it's pretty bothersome. Now, you could include the kind of rear hatch that I talked about earlier, that I like to put tiny tackle boxes. You could include that as a con. I personally don't, but it does make the rear tank well be a little farther back, so it can kind of be bothersome, but generally I think the fact that you have it there with kind of, a little dry storage where you can put your stuff like a scale and tackle box, I think that is better as a pro, and I personally like it. There's some people that might not. For example, in the Old Town Sportsman, they do have a dry storage below the seat, and I love that. I really do like it. it works quite well. You know, having one right below the seat is good, and I would have wished they'd done that, but it is a lot cheaper than the Old Town Sportsman, and it does its job very well, so I'm perfectly fine with them having that right behind the seat, rather than underneath the seat. Now, for the next con, it is going to be the fact that you have to get the pedal drive system quite precise if you want to remove it. The prop has to be, like, straight up and down, because otherwise it will hit the kayak and you cannot pull it up. Now, if you're getting into shallow water very quickly, then this is going to be quite bothersome. So, essentially, you just kind of want to get to a place where you know, get that specific place where you know that the prop is going to be straight up and down, or give yourself time before getting into that shallow water, although it can be tough if you don't know the water. So, that is a bit of a big one, but it's not a deal breaker to me personally, because of the solid metal construction. You're not going to be breaking this thing easily, unless you run it over with a car a few times and then hit it on the concrete. But it is full metal, it's pretty tough. It is very tough. And they do sell replacement props if you were to break it, and they do also sell a replacement rudder. Now, regarding the rudder, this one, it's neither a pro nor a con, because it's not the best of rudders, but at the same time, it's not the worst. It does its job. You're not going to be making any sharp turns, but the turning isn't too bad. It's kind of neither here nor there. It will hang slightly below it, kind of below the part that is supposed to be protecting it on the kayak that's built in, so you can scratch it up. But these things you can also replace for around $40. Not too cheap, but it's not, $100 fix. So it's not the biggest of deals, but it's kind of bothersome. But you're not going to hit it easily, so it's not a big deal. But again, you're not going to be making any crazy sharp turns, so, not really anything exciting there, but it's not too disappointing. Now, regarding the rudder control system, there's nothing too exciting here. It gets its job done. There isn't any rudder tension knob like they have on the Old Town Sportsman, but this thing is a lot cheaper than the Old Town Sportsman, so it's not a big deal. You can occasionally not hang on to it if you're going straight, or if you are turning to one direction, and it just kind of sits there. Then you can go entirely hands-free and not have to hang on to the rudder control system, but generally you will have to have one hand on it. But, you have a pedal drive system, which is a million times better than paddling, unless you're in rivers or something where it's too shallow. But generally speaking, it will be better and faster. So, having one hand on it and one hand fishing is a lot better than having 0 hands fishing and 2 hands paddling. That's my wisdom for the day. Now, the next con is the fact that the pedal drive system does move around quite a bit. It's not going to fall off or anything, but it does move around quite a bit, so it will rub the sides of where it is located, where you kind of set it back into the kayak, which is why I put duct tape on mine, and that reduces the rubbing. I would recommend you doing the same. It's not a big deal, and I don't exactly expect it to make a hole in the kayak, but it is something that's bothersome, and, it's going to rub it. Eventually, maybe it would, but I don't really think it would cause a big issue. But as far as the setting of the pedal drive in there, it's pretty quick and easy, other than the fact that you have to have it quite precisely if you want to pull it out. But other than that, I do like that the piece that you put on top of it to keep the water from splashing in, I do like that they have that and have a cup holder in it. It's very nice, it's something very small. I don't feel like it's going to break, neither the pedal drive system nor the piece that you put on top of it to keep from water splashing in. It's a very solid plastic, and overall, I'm very happy with the pedal drive system. It's tough, it gets the job done, it's not too fast, but it's not slow. So I'm very happy with it, and the rudder, it is a kind of plastic, it's not a metal, it's kind of a composite material. I don't know that I have the exact technical words for it, but it will be linked down below, so if you want exact technical stuff, but I do believe it is a composite material. If you could break this, so if you slam a door or something into it, then you could break it, but it's decently tough, so I don't feel like it's gonna break easily. And the propeller is the same, the prop, it's pretty tough. It's not going to break easy. Now, my overall thoughts of this kayak are that it is a very good kayak for the price. Now, it says it's on sale for like previously had been, $2,200. Would I pay that? Absolutely not. It's not worth $2,200. Go buy an Old Town Sportsman or Old Town Topwater for that price. Or you can even buy a Predator for about $300 more or $400 more. So, it's obviously I don't think it's actually on that sale, but I do really like it for its price of $1,300. It's very good. It works quite well. It's surprisingly stable. Like, it is really, really stable. I'm very happy with it. It gets its job done. It does also have two rear flush-mounted rod holders that I do really like. I didn't really touch on these things in the pros and cons, but it does have two flush-mounted rod holders. Now, the next con is going to be the fact that the stern tank well is a lot narrower than it should be. Now, there's a very similar issue with the Old Town Predator, but the Predator is deeper, which kind of partly fixes that. This thing is both shallow, and it has the dry storage on the bottom, which is also causing an issue, and it's not nearly as wide as it could be, and nearly as wide as it really should be. There's a lot of wasted space in there, and so it's really bothersome. It's really a letdown as far as that goes. It's not a deal breaker, in my opinion. It's just very bothersome. Now, they really could have just moved the walls back. There's a lot of wasted space there because the walls go in quite a bit, and then they just kind of taper going back and get narrower. But you can't fit certain crates sideways. For example, the Flambeau Premium Tough Crate you cannot fit sideways, which is bothersome because the rod holders, where you put your rods, on the sides. This is bothersome. It's worked decently fine for me so far. Hasn't been a real big issue, but it is bothersome. It's a very simple fix, and it saves plastic as well. Now, the last con I want to touch on is a much more simple one, but it's bothersome. Their scupper plugs are entirely rubber, which means that if they get stuck, the handles on top of them can quite easily rip off, and there was one spot in my kayak that wasn't properly kind of molded. It had too much plastic right where the scupper plug was supposed to be, so I went through two of them. They did ship me some more, so I was quite happy with that. They have very good customer service, but it's very bothersome because, you can fix the scupper plugs. They're entirely rubber, so the handles break really, really easily. So it's bothersome. It's just kind of something that it's a very minor thing, but it's still bothersome, and it seems like it's something they can fix pretty easily, or they could just, fix it so that they don't have extra plastic there, But it is a pretty simple fix on my part as far as the extra plastic. So, in conclusion, guys, I do think that this is a very good kayak for the price. Would I spend $2,200 on it? No, absolutely not. I would not. However, for the price of $1,300, yes, I do really like it. They have great customer service. There are some pretty big cons, but I think the pros do greatly outweigh it. One of the largest pros is, of course, the fact that it's a lot cheaper than most other pedal-driven kayaks. It gets the job done. It does it pretty well. The really big pro that I was very happy with was, of course, the accessory rail. I was very happy with this because I thought I'd have to put on my own accessory rail, something like that, DIY something, but I didn't because it came with one, and that's something nobody really has talked about in their videos, so I want to make a big point saying that they do come with accessory rails. Make sure of that. It will be in the description in all bold because it's a really big deal. You don't have to drill holes in your kayak, which is something you always have to be careful with, and it allows you to put on, a fish finder, stuff like that, very easily. I personally have the Yak Tac cell block on there, and I have a Garmin Striker 9 SV on it as well, and it gets the job done very well. I can get it on and get it off very easily, and it's very good. For those of you fishermen that just want to try out a pedal-driven kayak, this is an amazing, amazing kayak. I do think it's a lot better than some of the $900 or $1,000 kayaks like the Pelican pedal drive. I do really like this thing. It gets the job done. It is surprisingly stable, and it does it well. As far as the pedal drive system, it works quite well. It's very solid. I'm happy with it. The rudder, there is something there that, they could do better with. There's something lacking there, but overall, it gets its job done. And it gets it done. You're not going to be making any sharp turns, but eventually you can get the turn, just going forward and reverse a bunch. little bothersome, but it does it well. So that is my review of the Brooklyn Kayak Company PK12 pedal drive kayak. 12 foot. Again, it weighs only 77 pounds. I don't know the exact dimensions. I'll just pop up on the screen right here. It's 77 pounds. It's 12 foot, about 12 foot. And it's pedal drive kayak. It's something. I gotta say, because it'll just pop up on screen. Thank you, future self. You're amazing. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, you can put them down below. And also, before I go, it does come with the anchor trolley system on each side. So you don't have to install that. So those of you that are offshore anglers and stuff like that, you can have your anchor so that you stay in one place. Or even if you just have high amount of winds, you can stay in one place. You know, it's pretty good. Works well. It's not like crazy high quality, but it gets the job done. So again, it does have the anchor trolley system. And it does it, you know, gets the job done. A lot of this kayak is, it gets the job done. It's not going to be the best at it because, you know, it's a lot cheaper than a lot of pedal drive kayaks. But it's not bad. It does the job. It does it very well. And that's a large part of it. And I personally like it. So, thank you guys for watching. Again, if you have any questions, put them in the comments down below. I will have this kayak linked in the description. I'll also have all of the info and links to companies I would like you guys to check out. If you want to check out the Woo Tungsten gloves previously seen in the video, you can check those out down below. I really like those. Those are my main fishing gloves now. So be sure to check out those guys down below. And Brooklyn Kayak Company will be linked. Obviously, and the kayak will be linked too. Thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, bass fishing is an addiction, and kayak fishing is an addiction. So you can do it with the BKC PK12 pedal drive kayak system. Thank you for watching.